Hi guys, welcome to my YouTube channel. My name is Swaroop Nadella. In this video, program on how to find a factorial of a number. So we will be solving this code using both iterative method using a loop and also recursion using the recursion concepts. So first of all, let's try to create an iterative approach. Create a new class, factorial iterative. So I am giving the class name as factorial underscore iterative and public static void main I am selecting and click on finish. So, so before trying to solve this code, let's try to understand what is factorial. So let's say we have a number called number 3. So if the number is given as 3, then what is the factorial of number 3? 3 into 2 into 1. So the number multiplied by all the preceding numbers. So until number 1, all the numbers should be multiplied. So that will be the factorial of the given number. So let's say the given number is 5. Then what is the factorial? 5 into 4 into 3 into 2 into 1. So 3 into 2 is 6 and 6 into 1 is 1. So in case of 5, 5 into 4 is 20, 23 is a 60. 60 into 2, 120, 120 into 1, 120. So here the value is 120. In case of number 3, it is 6. If we take 4, let's say 4 into 3 into 2 into 1 doesn't matter. So 4 into 3 is 12, 12 to the 24. So this is how the factorial of a number is considered. So now let's take an integer value. So here the number I am taking, let's say for example 5. So in order to find the factorial of a number, the number should be positive. So it should be either it can be 1 or more than 1, but if it is 0 or negative number, we cannot find any factorial because this is applicable only to the positive numbers. We generally check for the factorial. So the number should be positive. That is the condition we should ensure while doing the factorial code. So and I want to take the result and store it into the result variable. So let me take an integer variable result equal to 1. So now what we need to do, this is an iterative approach. So we have to write a for loop and int I equal to 1 we need to start. So I less than or equal to n number. So here n is number. So from number 1 to until the number we need to iterate and the increment of incremented by 1 every iteration. So this is our loop. So now here the result we have to assign, right? So initially we have taken 1, but every iteration it should be multiplied by the subsequent value that is coming from the index I. So initially number 1 is there. So 1 into 1 is 1 only. The next iteration 1 will be incremented 1 plus 1 2. So then the result already have 1 and it is multiplied by 2. 1 into 2 is 2. Then the third iteration 3 will come. So here 2 is there in the result because we have assigned in the line number 14 the result equal to result into I. So 2 into 3 is 6. So accordingly it will try to multiply all the values until the number is reached. So our number is 5 in this program. So this is the iterative approach. So now let's try to print it on the console. So once we find it, factorial of factorial value is, so let's say like something like this, plus result. Now let me try to execute this code. Right click and run a Java application. So the factorial value is 120. So as we discussed it previously, so this is the thing. So let's try to execute it for number 6. So it is 720. So 120 into 6 is 720. So this should be correct. Number 7, let me check. So 5040. So previously we got 720. 720 multiplied by 7. It should be coming around 5040 because 7 into 7. So how do we calculate that? 720 came for 6 factorial. Then we have to multiply it by 7. So 4900. So 700 into 7 is 7 7 is 49. Two zeros we have in 700. And then 7 into 20 is 140. So the total value is 5040. So even this is correct. So in this way we can able to change the number with any kind of value like 8. Let's try to execute for 8. So 5040 into 8 is, you can see that 5 into 8 is 40. So 40 is coming. Then 4 into 8 is 32. 32 is there, and the last we have a 0. So the even the 8 factorial is coming correctly. So only thing we have to ensure here, the number should be positive. It should not be 0 or negative value. So now let's try to solve the factorial program using the recursion. Let's create a new class, factorial recursion. So we'll try to understand the recursion logic and then apply the same concept of factorial finding again here. So the number I am taking int number equal to 5, and the result I am going to store in a result variable. So here what I am doing, I am going to declare a custom method called factorial, and I am passing the number. So the factorial having error because the method is not defined. So let's try to give the result value in the system.out.println. Now we need to write a method called factorial. So it should be returning an integer value. So public static int. So factorial I am giving int num. So public static, why I am giving public is not mandatory because we are in the same class, but static is required because if I am writing a method inside the main method, the other method should also be static. Here public is optional, but static is important, and int is also important because the method should be returning some value, and it should be stored in the result so that we can print it on the console. So it is asking for a return statement. So what exactly we need to do? So I am giving a return statement, and this number should be multiplied by the previous number. Suppose 5 is there, then I need to multiply 5 with 4, then 4 into 3, then 3 into 2. So for that, in case of recursion, what exactly happens, right? So we have to call the method itself. So factorial is again calling the factorial by giving a number which is less than decremented by 1. So 5 into 4. So 5 into 4 into 3 into 2, like that it will be, the code will execute. So let's try to debug this after writing the code. So this will become an infinite loop because once you 5 is there, right? 5 into 4 into 3 up to 1 only we have to stop. Otherwise it will be decremented by 0, -1, -2, like that. The value will be infinite if we don't stop it. So in case of recursion, we have to have two cases. One is the method should be calling itself in order to achieve our code, and the second thing is we need to break the loop whenever our goal is reached. So when our goal will be reached, so if num equal to 1, then we should return 1. So whenever this factorial method is passing the number 1, right here, once it is keep on decrementing from 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. So when the factorial method is calling for 1, it will be checking this if condition in that iteration, and check whether the num is equal to 1. It will compare and return the value as 1. So otherwise it will be an infinite loop. So this is the point we have to remember, and this is the another point where the method will call itself. So these are the two important points. So now let's try to execute and check whether it works or not. So number 120 is coming. So it is the same like the iterative approach. The values are same. So the factorial 5 is coming 120, and let's check it for 6 also. For 6 720, so it's working fine. So 5040, for 8 it should come something about 40,320, as we seen previously, 40,320. So it is working correctly. Only thing, as we said previously, positive number only. It should not be 0 or negative. Otherwise factorial we don't calculate for negative values in general. So let's try to have it only the positive values. So this is about the factorial program using the recursion and the iterative approach. Like, share and subscribe to my channel. Thank you for watching.